What's up guys, Roman from R&S Entertainment, here with another edition of Comic History, where I go over the iconic origins and storylines for all sorts of comic book characters. In this video, we're going to be going over the origin of Bane, an iconic Batman villain best known as being the man who broke the bat, which occurs in the Nightfall story arc. Bane was born the son of a member of a rebel insurgent group attempting to overthrow the ruling factions of Santa Prisca. The rebel group was soundly defeated and the remaining members tortured into revealing the names of anyone else involved, one of whom was Bane's mother, condemned with the rest of the named individuals to a life sentence in the island prison Peña Duro, where the unborn Bane was to be charged with the crimes of his father and live his entire life within the confines of the prison. Bane and his mother were kept in protective custody during his early years, living in isolation as the mother wasted away without hope. Bane, however, knew no other life and adapted to his new surroundings, quickly learning the brutality of murder and the harshness of his environment. A prisoner named Zombie watched over the boy as he grew older and the mother as she slowly died. Bane's mother eventually passed away, and the boy denied himself a single tear, deciding that she died because she was weak and therefore deserved it. They threw her body to the sharks surrounding the island and removed Bane from protective custody, putting him in with the general population to fend for himself. On his first night, Bane was targeted to be used by one of the inmates, and the next day is confronted before being defended by a prisoner named Trog, who was reputed for having killed over 20 men within Peña Duro. During this confrontation, Bane was pushed over the railing, landing roughly on his head and killing the boy, allowing the man he was to become be born. The injured Bane is confronted with a vision of the man he sees himself as destined to be, and it tells him that he has the blood of kings, that he is a rare breed destined to rule them all, and that the only thing standing in his way is fear, which is represented by a giant bat. A full month later, Bane emerges from the coma he had been in, and the first thing he does is confront the prisoner who had frightened him on his first night there, brutally murdering him with a shiv before being discovered by the guards. The warden claims that the boy has turned into a feral creature, the bane of anything holy, and so he was named. The warden has him locked in chains and thrown in what they call the Hole, a solitary cell which opens into the ocean through a grate and floods every night. But before he's locked away, he tells the warden that he has spoken to his mother in hell, and that there's a special fire waiting for him there, which rattles the warden and attracts the notice of the other prisoners. Within the pit, Bane survives off of rats and ocean life, purging himself of fear and refusing to surrender. Each night, the ocean flooded his cell and he fought for his life, driven by hatred and the destiny that he believed awaited him. Over the years of living in complete isolation, Bane began to indulge in escapist meditation of his own creation. In his own mind, he traveled to fantastic realms, and in each one he hunted down the vision of the fear in his heart, defying it until one day he finally killed it once and for all. After more than 10 years, the doors to the Hole finally opened, and Bane is greeted with a message that simply reads "Bird," though the written word means nothing to him as he had never learned to read. Having defied his captors by refusing to die, Bane is released back into the prison in hopes that one of his inmates would seek revenge for the man Bane murdered. But unknown to the warden, Bane had become something more to these prisoners. He had become a legend. One of these prisoners was known as Bird, the man who sent him the message on the day of his release, and after pledging his service to Bane, he tells him of his old life in Gotham and the partners who had betrayed him. Over the next few years, Bane turned his attentions to becoming the figure he had seen in his vision. He has Bird teach him how to read, and becomes obsessed with the knowledge that books could bring him, reading 3 books a day until he had exhausted the prison library, and using his influence to smuggle more in constantly. Bane knew that there was power in this knowledge, and learned to read in multiple languages about every subject he could. He also rigorously trained his body, keeping to a strict daily training regimen, and allowing himself no sleep, only a few hours of meditation each night. Bane is often challenged but never defeated, and after killing another man, he asks Bird to tell him more about Gotham City. Bird describes it as the best city on Earth, with anything a man could want ripe for the taking. Bane asks him who rules this city, and this is when he first learns of Batman, a man who has defeated all of the crime bosses in his city, and is feared by everyone who isn't completely insane. Matching up with the visage of fear that Bane had always envisioned, he vows to meet this Batman one day, and to destroy him. The idea of Batman captures Bane's vast imagination, forming into an obsession that became his entire purpose. Becoming increasingly angry at the lack of control over his own life, Bane takes his rage out more and more on other prisoners, and after his body count passes 30 men, the guards launch themselves at him with their entire force, bringing him down and preparing him for experimentation. Doctors had been using the prison to experiment with a nerve toxin, designed to create super soldiers, and the 5 inmates they had injected so far had all died hideous deaths. Seeking a stronger subject, they bring Bane in for testing. Bane undergoes a series of injections of different variations of the drug known as venom, and while the doctors are distracted, Zombie steals a sample of the drug. Bane survived the experiments, and the doctors then implanted machinery in his skull that allowed him to feed the venom directly into his brain, which Bane welcomed, viewing this as the last step to becoming his perfect self. A former drug synthesizer, Zombie is able to analyze the venom and replicate the formula, and Bane whispers his plan to the man who had watched him become what he is over all of these years. Controlling his vital signs to slow enough to be indistinguishable from death, Bane is thrown to the sharks like his mother was, leaving Peñaduro for the first time. Ripping apart the sharks that attacked him, Bane survived, and was now a free man, but he once again returned to the prison, returning for those men who had followed him and suffered beside him, gaining their undying loyalty and capturing the warden in the process. Negotiating a helicopter with the warden's life, Bane and his men fly away from Santa Prisca, throwing the warden into the ocean for the sharks along with Bane's teddy bear from his childhood, setting their sights on Gotham. Over the next couple of months, Bane and his men use Bird's connections to provide themselves with fake identities, and Trog's electronic knowledge combined with Zombie's knowledge of chemicals to create a new device, one that would feed venom directly to Bane at will, creating the iconic mask he's known for, and with that, Bane is complete. After this, Bane forms his plans for Gotham, meets Batman, and begins a long, sprawling storyline called Nightfall, ending with the iconic moment where he breaks Batman's back, which is a topic for another video. So this wraps up the origin of Bane, a villain that a lot of people are familiar with, but that most people don't know very much about. He's definitely very different than you might expect upon first look, and is far from some mindless steroid user. If you'd like to see more on Bane, let me know in the comments, along with anything else you'd like to see in comic history videos. If you like this video, make sure to thumbs up and subscribe, check out the links in the video and in the description below, like and follow us on Facebook, and subscribe to my gaming channel.